You're not going to win every single tough game out there, especially those very close to one-run type of ball games. The Phillies won two of those in the series. Yeah, both wins weren't, one run, but, they won the 2-0 game on Friday. They won the 1-0 game yesterday. And today was another one-run performance. The Cardinals were not going to get shut out in every single game of this series. They were eventually going to find a way to score some runs, and they did today. I'll give credit to the Phillies bullpen, only allowing 4 runs against the Cardinals in this game for a bullpen game mostly. You got Nick Nelson being the opener at that point. Familia, for how much he couldn't locate, he surprisingly got out of the inning. I thought Christopher Sanchez was solid. The only thing he really did was give up the home run to Albert Pujols. Andrew Bellotti kind of looked like he didn't have his stuff, but he limited the damage. The one guy I would say I am most disappointed of out of the bullpen, I would say it's Sir Anthony Dominguez. It was clearly obvious he did not have his command in this game. Got a lot of rough, and he allowed the go-ahead run. And it was a very close play at the plate. Matt Vierling and JT Realmuto really couldn't do anything more. It was a great throw by Vierling, a great tag attempt by JT. Carlson just happened to get his hand right in there as his entire leg misses the plate. You got a good sliding with his hand there to get the go-ahead run. It was literally just by inches at that point for that go-ahead run for the Cardinals. And the Phillies dropped this third game of the series by a score of 4-3 to the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm not going to be pissed off about this game, no, because the Phillies won 2 really good ball games in this series, and you still have a chance to win the series tomorrow with Nola on the mound. Still a great opportunity there. Like I said, I'm disappointed in Sir Anthony Dominguez, and I'm really disappointed in the offense in this game because they did have a lot of chances to put some runs on the board. And don't get me wrong, this game was very winnable, but I'm not going to bash this team just because they lost the game where they were battling basically the entire time. I'm fine with that type of loss because you were in the game the entire time. Granted, you did have a lot of chances in this game, definitely, but still, with a bullpen game out there, for limiting the damage as much as those guys did, only allowing 4 runs in total to a Cardinals team, even though they are struggling, it was guaranteed they were going to score runs eventually. I can't be pissed off about that. Like I said, I'm just disappointed more in the offense, and like I said, disappointed in Sir Anthony Dominguez in that bottom of the 8th inning. Like I said, the offense, they went 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They were getting a lot of runners on base in this game. The Phillies had 11 hits in this ball game. Not a lot of extra base hits, though. A lot of singles. Really, the only extra base hits you can talk about are, like a cheap double by Rhys Hoskins where he's check swinging and it just happens to go down the right field line. You get the moonshot by Kyle Schwarber to give the Phillies a 3-1 lead in this ball game. So there weren't many extra base hits. The Phillies had a lot of base runners, and there were a lot of double plays in this game. Even for the Cardinals, too. You could even say they went 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this game. They just, the timely hitting with the sacrifice fly, they put the ball in play, and it was a very close play at the plate. It was originally called out, but on the replay, you can definitely tell Carlson got his hand in there before JT was able to apply the tag. So basically, like I said, this is a loss where the Phillies battled. Basically, it was a battle between both teams the entire ball game. I'm just disappointed in a little things, but I'm not going to bash this team because they had 2 great wins in this series, and you still have a chance to win the series tomorrow with Nola on the bump. But the offense does need to be better. I did say this yesterday. For this game, I wanted the offense to, come out a little bit more. And it looked like it was going to be like that in the first inning because you got 3 leadoff singles to start this game. Kyle Schwarber reaches it on an infield single. Rhys Hoskins gets a single. And then Nick Castellanos gets an RBI single to make it a 1-0 ball game. But then Derek Hall grounds into a double play, so you get 2 runners out there. You get a runner over at third base and Rhys Hoskins. JT works a walk, and then Alec Bohm grounds out on the very first pitch he sees, and that is kind of a wasted opportunity right there. Nick Nelson was surprisingly nasty in that first inning, striking out the side, but then the Cardinals managed to tie it. Arenado reaches in on an infield single. Kind of got lucky because it hit the second base bag before Munoz could even make a play on it. Albert Pujols, who was a killer in this game, he singled, and then Newt Barr got an RBI single. It was one of those weak things where he just hit it right in the perfect spot from the shift. Scored a run there, tied the ball game up at 1, and then he walks so that's a bases loaded situation for the Cardinals right here. He strikes out Romine, and then he gets Tommy Edman to ground out. So limiting the damage from Nick Nelson, I would say that is a pretty good job out of him. Phillies go down 1-2-3 in the third. Familia comes out for the bottom of the third inning, leads off the first guy with a walk. Manages to get a ground out, but then he hits Nolan Arenado, and he walks Dickerson. So you get bases loaded, 1 out for Albert Pujols. and he grounds into a double play. Thank God Albert Pujols is 42 years old and he can't run like he used to. So that was a break right there. Ugh. Familia. Ugh. It's always like that when he's out there. Then you go to the top of the fourth inning. Phillies respond from the Cardinals not being able to hit in that situation. Derek Hall leads off with a single, but then JT grounded into a double play, so you get 2 outs. And then the 2-out rally kind of happens. Alec Bohm gets a single, Bryson Stott gets a single, and then Matt Vierling on an 0-2 count gets an RBI single right up the middle, puts the Phillies back on top 2-1. Sanchez comes out. He was originally supposed to start the game, but then, Rob Thompson decided, we'll put Sanchez in later in the ball game. He gets a 1-2-3 inning right there. Not a lot of pitches in that inning. Kyle Schwarber leads off the top of the fifth. Moonshot the center field, goes right into the grass. Makes it a 3-1 Phillies lead. Phillies then go down 1-2-3 right after that. Hoskins strikes out, and the rest, basically. Bottom of the fifth for Sanchez. After a walk, basically got an easy inning right there. A couple of flyouts and a ground out. Top of the sixth. 2-out single by Stott really doesn't turn into anything. Then you go bottom of the sixth. Sanchez back out there on the mound and gets the first out, but then he leaves the pitch kind of right over the middle of the plate to Albert Pujols. He crushes it. 684th career home run for Albert Pujols. So, yeah, he's hit a lot of home runs in his career, and I can't be mad about that from Albert Pujols for where he's at in his career. My goodness. And it's funny, too. I think the Cardinals have like a promotion for every home run Albert Pujols hits. I guess the next fan wins that amount of chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A or something like that. So he hit 684 today. So the fan, or I guess one random lucky fan, won 684 nuggets. Yeah, my goodness. Go to the top of the seventh inning. Rhys Hoskins did double with 2 outs. Then Nick Castellanos managed to reach with an infield hit, like a chopper right off the third base line. So you get a first and third situation for Derek Hall. He grounds out. It was one of those, like the Cardinals, like basically the entire day, they were like in the right defensive positions for most of the time. Then you go to that bottom of the seventh inning. Sanchez was back out there for a third. Got an infield. He got a leadoff single there. Honestly, it was very close because the ball was like lined right at his head. His glove was like just this close to grabbing it, but it goes over his head. Thank God it didn't hit him. And at the leadoff single, Thompson decides to take him out of the ball game, brings in Andrew Bellotti. Tommy Edman didn't get the double. And then basically a productive out by Gorman, grounds out, ties the ball game up at 3. But then Bellotti manages to get the inning over. Yepez grounds out to the catcher. It was honestly just a very lucky play right there. Fortunate, lucky bounce for the Phillies in that situation. He does walk Nolan Arenado, but he does manage to get Corey Dickerson to fly out the center field to end the inning. So basically another situation where you did allow a run, but you limited the damage because the inning could have been way worse than it was. So still, I would give credit to Bellotti there. Phillies go down 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th inning. Not really happy about that. When the Cardinals are doing that stuff in the bottom of the 7th inning, I would like a response from the Phillies, but they go down 1-2-3 kind of easily. So you go to the bottom of the 8th. Seranthony Dominguez coming out on the mound. Okay. Albert Pujols leads off with a single. It was a battle of an at-bat, 3-2 count. The one thing I didn't like from this at-bat, it was a bunch of sliders and a bunch of sinkers. Seranthony got ahead in the count 0-2, and then he fell back to 3-2, and then Albert Pujols managed to get that single. So Pujols was a killer in this game. And then you get a foul out, which was huge, but then so singles on a 1-2 count. So Seranthony Dominguez not being able to retire guys in this inning. Walks Paul Goldschmidt on 4 pitches. And then Tommy Edman hits that sac fly, the very close play at home plate. Basically, it was, like I said, nothing more Vierling could do, nothing more JT could do on that situation. Very close play at the plate. Good attempt on the tag by GT. I see a lot of people are saying like, oh, it was a poor tag attempt. But like, what more could he have done? Seriously, I want to know. What more could JT have done in that entire situation to get the outs? It was a good slide by Carlson. Yeah, his leg missed the entire plate, but he got his hand in there. It was basically safe by inches at that point. So, centimeters even. So, nothing more Vierling and JT could do on that situation. Seranthony does manage to get the last out. So, basically, it's another situation of limiting the damage, but you don't want Seranthony Dominguez going out there and coughing the tie up. Then you go to the top of the 9th inning. Vierling, hard fly ball to right field, just right in the perfect situation the right fielder was. It's kind of weird, too, when you think of when all these like defensive shifts are out here in baseball. Like, if it's Matt Vierling up at the plate, you would probably think yourself as an outfielder, okay, he's probably going to pull the ball because He's a righty hitter. He's probably going to be favoring more to left field. No, the right fielder was like perfectly placed, like in a normal position, and made the catch look nonchalant, because if he was shifted more closer to left field, that would probably be a double in the gap for Veerling. So that was just like, why is he leading? Why is he there? Like, seriously, the defensive shifts. The Cardinals, that's why they're one of the better defensive teams in the league. Didi Gregorius comes out the pinch hit. Not the best at bat from Didi. He pops up. And then Kyle Schwarber just missed it, like literally just missed it off the bat, and it flew out to the outfield. When I looked at it, like the exit velocity on that hit was like 103, and the ball died. I was like, what? 103 miles an hour off the bat, and the ball died in the outfield? Oof. That shows the balls and carrying in St. Louis for some reason. It completely shows that. But yeah, you lose 4-3, and now you're up a game in the third wild card spot. But like I said, I'm not overly disappointed in this loss, because the Phillies have shown us more times than not this year they are more of a different team, and they've been playing a lot better since Rob Thompson has been the manager of this team. But still, I'm disappointed in the offense, because there were a lot of chances that they did, spiral away. And Seranthony Dominguez, not the biggest fan of what he did in the 8th inning, but still, I believe he'll bounce back. The offense is eventually going to get out of this little rut. They've shown it to us before. They go through ruts like this, and then they eventually break out and score like 20 runs in a ball game. So hopefully that is tomorrow. I would like to see some run support for Nola, because you're desperately going to need it. I'm confident in Nola to go out there and give yourself a good performance there. But if you're looking at the lineup today, Kyle Schwarber had a good day at the plate. He went 2 for 5 with an RBI on the solo shot. Rhys Hoskins went 2 for 4. Nick Castellanos went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Derek Hall went 1 for 4, but he did ground into a couple of double plays. Same thing with JT Realmuto, another 0 for day at the plate for him with a walk. Alec Bohm goes 1 for 4. Bryson Stott had a solid day at the plate, went 2 for 4. Matt Veerling went 1 for 4. And basically that is it. Munoz goes over 3 with 2 strikeouts, and Didi Gregorius in his pinch hit situation popped up and went 0 for 1. But like I said, not many extra base hits in this ball game. Phillies did have 11 hits, but still the only extra base hits in this game was the home run by Kyle Schwarber and the check swing double by Rhys Hoskins. So the Castellanos 2 singles, Derek Hall had a single, Alec Bohm with a single, Bryson Stott 2 singles, Veerling single. So yeah, extra base hits. Like, I do like that the Phillies are showcasing that they don't only need to use home runs to score runs in ball games, which is a nice change of pace. But I would like to see more extra base hits. I would like to see more doubles. I would like to see more, extra base hits and stuff like that. Can't just be Kyle Schwarber only hitting home runs. I would like to see Rhys Hoskins hit one over the fence. You know what I mean? But still, not overly disappointed. It was a battle through and through. You still won the first 2 games of this series. Those games were battles. And you have a chance to win tomorrow. You definitely do. So if you're looking at the bullpen stats from this game, Nick Nelson, he goes 2 innings, allows 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts on 42 pitches. Familia, he walked 2 guys, but somehow got it out of that situation with the double play to Albert Pujols. Christopher Sanchez, he goes 3 innings in this ballgame, 2 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and a home run allowed to Albert Pujols on 46 pitches. I guess you could say it's questionable. Maybe they shouldn't have brought him out in the 7th inning. Maybe it would have been a different situation at that point. But what's done is done. Andrew Bellotti comes out to finish the job, allows 1 hit, 1 walk, and he did allow that 1 run to come across the plate, but that was charged to Christopher Sanchez. Seranthony Dominguez, 1 inning pitched, 2 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 1 walk in 25 pitches for him. So not the best performance from Seranthony in that situation. I just wish he were better in that point, but it was obvious he did not have the command in this ball game. So I would expect, Seranthony maybe after today, he's probably not going to be pitching tomorrow. That's just what I am thinking from this point. So yeah, that's definitely basically from that standpoint. Phillies are now 46-40 on the season. And like I said, in that wild card spot, they are now just a game ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals in the 3rd wild card spot. So like I said, basically, you're looking at tomorrow's ball game. You're going to have Nola on the bump going up against Miles Mikolas on the mound. You faced Mikolas earlier in the last series against them. That was when he went down 3-0 and you ended up winning 5-3. So he's been one of the Cardinals' best pitchers this year, but still, I think he can get hit around a little bit. His last outing against the Atlanta Braves, they lost that game 3-0. He went 6 innings, 5 hits allowed, 3 earned runs on 4 strikeouts. Then the Phillies game, we all know that. 6 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout. So he is a hittable pitcher. He hasn't been as good in his previous starts. Like I said, I need the offense to come up for Arenado tomorrow. I definitely do. I need a breakout game for the offense tomorrow in this series because, yeah, you scored 2 runs in the first game, 1 run yesterday, and 3 runs today. So that what is that in 3 games so far? That is 6 runs. So I would like to see more of an offensive explosion tomorrow, just to help Arenado out. I'm confident in Arenado. I just need the offense to get him some run support. That's basically it. But still, I'm not overly disappointed. I'm not going to be pissed off like, some of the other Philadelphia fans, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are pissed off about this loss for some reason. But still, with the way this team has been playing lately, it was a close game. It was a battle throughout the entire thing. You're going to lose eventually. You're going to lose one game eventually. All that matters is come out the next day and win another ball game. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Scott in the chat says we should not be too disappointed. The Phillies have come a long way from how they were playing a month ago. They are playing with confidence. Also, Nola is going to be on the bump tomorrow. Exactly. What do you think the lineup will look like in Toronto? That's going to be a major question mark because I know the whole thing with the pitching staff. I know Zack Wheeler is going to be pitching the Wednesday game in Toronto, I believe, but there's still a question mark who's going to be pitching on Tuesday because, Kyle Gibson, he pitched yesterday because his start was moved to yesterday because, he's not vaccinated and he can't go into Canada. And I think there's a good amount of Phillies on this team that aren't vaccinated. I'm not sure entirely. I kind of think Kyle Schwarber would travel because one of the other better offers was from the Toronto Blue Jays in free agency. So I would assume that he might be ready to go to Toronto. I'm not sure about everyone else, though. Rhys Hoskins, I would think he's vaccinated. DD, of course, I think he's vaccinated because, everything last year with him blaming the vaccine for his injury situation. JT, I'm not sure if he's vaccinated. I'm not sure about everything. So we're basically, it's going to be a flip of the coin on what the roster is going to look like going into Toronto. I know there's definitely some bullpen guys out there that aren't vaccinated at all. So we're just going to wait and see what happens when we go to Toronto. They're definitely going to be deciding a lot of that after tomorrow's game. So it's basically just a wait and see process with that. Who knows, though? Who knows? Definitely questionable, but still. Oh, look at this. Looks like Kyle Schwarber is going to be in the All-Star game. That's nice. That is very nice. It looks like the Phillies Twitter just announced that. That's actually pretty good. So I'm assuming he's going to be an All-Star reserve or something like that. He's definitely not a starter. But I would assume he's also going to be, hopefully, in the home run derby. So I wonder if that's going to happen. So you never know. You never know. Never know. That's still a cool thing. Kyle Schwarber making the All-Star team. That's nice. He definitely deserves it. But apparently, let me look. I think Ben Verlander is announcing them. So let me go through what he has been talking about right here. So we got, that's AL reserves. Okay, that's the American League. Is there anything on the National League? William Contreras is starting DH, which was going to be obvious. Ian Happ, starting Marte, Juan Soto, Clayton Kershaw, Tony Gonsolin. Is there anything else on the Phillies? Is there any other Philly that could make the All-Star game? It's questionable. It can't just be Kyle Schwarber. I think Aaron Nola deserves to be at least in the All-Star game. It doesn't sound like Zack Wheeler is, though. So that's a little weird. Oh, wow. Tim Kelly just posted from Tim Kelly from Phillies Nation. He just posted that it looks like Zack Wheeler nor Aaron Nola has been picked for the All-Star team, that's kind of shocking. Kind of weird. Why don't they deserve to get into the All-Star team? It's kind of odd. A little confused there. How come Zack Wheeler? He was the pitcher of the month in May. He's been fantastic for the past 2 months. Aaron Nola has been amazing this year. They don't get picked to the All-Star game. Huh. That's weird. That's weird. Who knows? And the good fight just said, well, Wheeler and Nola not making the team renders the All-Star game irrelevant. They probably make it as a reserve to injury Sunday starter guys. That probably makes sense. Because what Wheeler pitches on Wednesday, the All-Star game is what, next Tuesday, I'm assuming? All-Star game is, I think it's the 19th. So Wheeler pitches on Wednesday in Toronto. And I'm assuming Nola is pitching one of the games in Miami. Oh, yeah, Nola's pitching on that Sunday, so that's obvious. Aaron Nola wouldn't be playing in the All-Star game regardless. Yeah, It kind of sucks that both of them got snubbed, but Aaron Nola would be pitching regardless because he's pitching on Sunday, so that makes sense for Aaron Nola. For Zack Wheeler, I kind of think he deserves to get the All-Star game. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? Iris says Nola should have started today. Bullpen game tomorrow. But then you're going to move up an Aaron Nola start. I don't think they were going to do that. Put Aaron Nola out there on a couple of last days rest. So I don't think they were going to do that. No way in hell. I know they did it for Zack Wheeler, but that was basically for the case of Kyle Gibson not being able to travel with the team to Toronto. So that's basically the reason for that. But they weren't going to move up Aaron Nola start, especially when, the other better pitcher on the mound from Michaelis is on the mound for the Cardinals. They definitely were going to throw a bullpen game in that situation. Mike says Hoskins should make it. Well, according to right here, it looks like it's just Kyle Schwarber, and that's it. I think it's just Kyle Schwarber. I know Harper got voted into the All-Star game, but obviously he's not going to be playing in it. So I think right now the Phillies only have technically 2 All-Stars representing the team in the All-Star game, but Harper he's not going to be there most likely because he's injured. So it looks like it's just Kyle Schwarber, which is kind of shocking, honestly. Yeah, that is kind of weird. Why would Wheeler not be able to make the All-Star team? That just doesn't make sense, in my honest opinion. If I go to the Phillies roster, let me look at Zack Wheeler's numbers because they've been fantastic. Zack Wheeler, he's 8-4, a 2.46 ERA, 104 strikeouts, and a WHIP of 1.05. He was the pitcher of the month in May. How is he not on the All-Star team? That just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I guess you can use that now as a... Let's see, here we go. Yeah, Jeff Passan just posted here on Twitter. Most egregious All-Star snubs: Carlos Rodon, Will Smith, Ty France, Tommy Edman, Dylan Cease, Zack Wheeler, Brandon Drury, Josh Bell, Devin Williams, Aaron Nola, Kevin Gausman, Austin Riley, many, many more. Nimmo, Reynolds, Schreiber, King, and plenty will be added this week. Jeez, there's a lot of snubs here. Wow. But who knows? Maybe that could be a blessing in disguise that they don't have to pitch in the All-Star game. They can just use that as rest. I want to see, though. Are they going to announce the entire roster for the NL? That's the reserves for the AL. I'm just shocked that Wheeler and Nola didn't get selected at all to the All-Star game. I just find that very, very, very shocking, in my honest opinion. Who knows? Who knows why? I'm just scrolling through here just to see. It's just, yeah, everyone's posting just right now how Wheeler and Aaron Nola most likely got snubbed. But for Aaron Nola's case, well, he definitely does deserve to make the All-Star team, no doubt. But he wasn't going to pitch in it regardless because he is pitching that Sunday before the All-Star game. Wheeler, you can make the case. Well, there definitely is a case for Zack Wheeler. I'm not denying that. But maybe, like I said, maybe it's a blessing in disguise that they don't have to pitch the All-Star game. They both get that full, basically, week of rest for that All-Star break. So maybe that's a blessing in disguise. And specifically, too, for the Phillies in general, for a lot of the guys that are slumping. Scott says 2 of the best pitchers being forgotten. Holy crap. Yeah, I don't know why. There's a lot of snubs in this All-Star game, though. There are a lot of guys that probably should be in the All-Star game and that aren't. Yeah, Zack Wheeler has the 5th best ERA in the National League. How is he not in the All-Star game? How? Seriously, Devin Williams from the Brewers, he definitely deserves to be. How is Josh Bell not in the All-Star game? He's the best player so far for the Nationals. I understand Juan Soto because he's one of the best players in the league, but he's not batting as good as Josh Bell this year. I'm just putting it out there. Ty France for Seattle, he deserves to be in there. He's been amazing this year. Carlos Rodon has been great. I think I just saw Austin Riley for the Braves. He's somehow not in the All-Star game. I'm assuming Ronald Acuna that's in the All-Star game for them, but still. That's just confusing. That is just insanely confusing. I'm assuming Kyle Schwarber is probably going to be in the home run derby because he does lead the National League in home runs with 28. And the next lowest guy, I believe, is Pete Alonso at 23. So Kyle Schwarber is ahead of the bunch a little bit right here in the home runs. So that is nice to see. It's still, I believe, it probably is up to Schwarber if he wants to be in the home run derby or not. I wouldn't blame him if he doesn't want to be, but still. Who knows? It's just very odd. There's a lot of snubs in this All-Star game this year. I know there's probably going to be, announcements of guys that don't want to go to the All-Star game. So you're going to be seeing a lot of guys coming in reserves. So who knows? Maybe that's when you'll see maybe if a pitcher for the National League doesn't want to go to the All-Star game, maybe they choose Zack Wheeler. But who knows? Maybe Wheeler and Nola don't want to go to the All-Star game. Maybe they want that week of rest. Who knows? Like I said, especially for Wheeler too, especially when he's not having when he did not pitch at all in spring training. Maybe that's a week of rest that he would definitely need. Who knows though? I just find that weird. I find that very weird that a lot of guys are getting snubbed for the All-Star game. I do. I find that very, very, very weird. But still, back to the game, basically, right before we end this off. I'm not, like I said, I'm disappointed in a few things. I'm not pissed off about this loss whatsoever. No way in hell. The Phillies had yesterday and Friday. They had amazing wins. 2-0 win on Friday, 1-0 win yesterday. They showed balls in those two games. Today, your bullpen limited the damage a lot of times. It was a bullpen game. I wasn't expecting much, even though how great the bullpen has been lately. They still only allowed 4 runs. Like I said, the most thing I'm more disappointed in this game is the offense. They had a lot of chances to score runs in this game, but you could also say that for the Cardinals, but they had a timely hitting in that point, and the Phillies didn't. Phillies had a lot of chances. They grounded into a lot of double plays, and there weren't many extra base hits. So, tomorrow, Arenado on the bump. You have a chance to win this series, and I want you to win this series. I'll be a little more disappointed if you somehow end up splitting. That's why I'm asking for the offense tomorrow to give Nola run support. That is the most important thing. Nola has barely had any games this season where he has had run support. His last game out there, I want to go to Nola actually, just looking at his past couple of games, just to see what game this year has he had run support, because there probably hasn't been many. So if I go to Nola, just to see everything, so let me go to Nola, just to see his past couple of games. So let me see. Are they not going to show me the past couple of games for Nola? Stats, game log, actually. Here we go. So his last game was against the Washington Nationals when he was amazing out there, and the Phillies lost that game 3-2. Game against the Atlanta Braves, okay, they gave him run support in that situation. They won 14-4. The game in San Diego, they didn't score any runs for him at all. A game in Washington, no run support, only a 2-1 win, but that was in extra innings. A game against the Marlins, they scored 3 runs. They did win that game, but only scoring 3 runs. Milwaukee, they did give him run support, 10 runs in that ball game. Against San Francisco, they gave him run support. They won that game 6-5. In Atlanta, 4 runs there, and he was dominant. In Los Angeles, probably one of his not so best games. They lost that game 7-4. Now that was versus LA at home. In Los Angeles, 4 runs there, 4 runs there, 7 runs, 0 runs, 0 runs, 1 run, 6 runs, 9 runs. So there's barely, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In 9 of Nola's, how many starts has he got this year? How many starts has he had this year? I don't know why I'm like blanking on this. I don't want to go like count. Okay, he's had, so in, honestly, it doesn't, I wouldn't say 9 out of 13. Maybe I would say like very few. Like, does 4 runs classify as run support? Maybe for the way Nola is pitching this year, but I would say maybe like run support's like 5 runs in my honest opinion. So maybe like he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in 6 of his 13 starts this year, he's had run support, and the other 7 hasn't been run support. So yeah, I would love to see Nola get some run support in this game, because looking at Nola's past couple of starts too, just basically going through the month of June, he was fantastic. Like going back to that game in Atlanta against the Braves where they won 4-1 on May 26th. 8 1/3 innings, 6 innings, 8 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings, and then 7 2/3 innings. Nola has been really good. Really, really, really good this year, especially in the previous month. So give him some run support, please. Give him some run support tomorrow so you can win this series. So that's going to do it for this video, everyone. What are your thoughts on this game? Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section down below. I like to read those as always. Do not forget to drop a like on the video. Do not forget to check out everything in the description below, Painted Lines, BrodesMedia, everything like that. I recommend it. I also recommend hitting the subscribe button and also using the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next time.